Hello, hello, everyone. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to Face, card making space. I forgot to turn on the light because we are going to do a Halloween card. Okay. Oh, we are live, unscripted, unfiltered, and unsupervised. Literally unsupervised. The unpaid intern is not here. I said that when I posted the heads up for everyone, and then I mentioned it in the comments. He's in the building. He's in the house. He's upstairs. He's on a play date with his friends playing whatever current online game that group is into. I didn't even ask what game. More often than not, I don't care. So yeah, he's on a play date because all of them work full time, and that's what they scheduled was during my time. So it's just us today. So I am super extra multitasking to make this live work. Hopefully everything works. Hopefully the poltergeist is sleeping, the tech gremlins, all the things. Because I got enough to deal with, all right? I can do this. I can manage all the things. So yeah. Hey, Libby. Hi. And I can hear my kids being spouses too. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. So yeah, I am not... there we go. Yeah, everything should be good. Hopefully, everything should be fine. Hopefully, I had to scramble because the main thing I was planning on using sold out before the live. So I scrambled, redid all the things. So because I'm doing this on my own, links will not get posted in the chat like they normally do because that's what the intern normally does for me. So no peanut M&Ms for him this time. And yeah, I've linked though all the supplies I plan on using are linked below the video like they always are. Just expand the description box. It's all there. I also, for those watching live, it's pinned at the top of the chat as well. So you can click on that, check it out. Like always, my links are affiliate links. That just means if you click on one of my links, you end up placing an order. And it doesn't matter what link you click on, and it doesn't matter what you order. It legit doesn't matter. If you want to order, if you click on a stamp set that I showed and you change your mind and you order cardstock or whatever, and you check out, I still get credit for that, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's what helps keep all the things going. So, yeah, feels a little weird sitting in here all by myself. Lonely. So yeah, and it should be hopefully fine. Hopefully fine. Honestly, the times I do unscheduled lives and I'm just like sitting here and I go live and we just chat and do whatever, those go off without a hitch. It's usually only the Sunday lives that I seem to have issues, but again, we'll see. We shall see. But it seems like everything's working. Hello to everybody that is popping in. And yes, the giveaway, because for those that might be new, I give away the card I make during the live. Because I am on my own today, I will not be doing it during the live, but it's in the blog post. That is also linked directly below the video. So this gives a chance for people that aren't watching live, because I won't be able to choose a winner. I'll probably wait. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. So the form to fill out, etc., linked in the blog post. So hop on over there and yeah, you can enter your name and address and I'll pick a winner tomorrow, mail out the card. Like always, again, I don't keep that info. Once the winner's chosen, I delete that form, delete everyone's info. I don't keep it, sell it, share it, anything else. And I will mail the card like wherever. I don't care where you're located on the planet. I'll mail it to you. It's all good. So, and yes, I have you guys talk to you. It's different. I remember not when I first started doing lives, because I've been doing lives in one way or another for many, many years, but it's been like a little over a year now? Yeah, that I've been doing like scheduled lives. And the first few were fine. And then when Chris started like helping, I remember having a really hard time. Like, you know, it's one thing to sit and talk to a camera. You know, I got my microphone, all my setups, everything else. That's fine. You know, it's you get used to it, and it's is what it is. I struggled in the beginning having an audience, like a live person sitting off in the corner, and I was like, this is weird. But I got used to it. And yeah, now it's weird because he's not here. He's been part of the lives for however long now. But we'll all survive. He'll have fun on his little play date. And yeah, we'll be good. I'll just have to work a little harder at keeping up with the chat. I'm usually pretty decent, and I've got like again multiple devices going on, everything else. I should be fine. Everything should be fine. We should be fine. It should be fine. You know. Okay, let's. So far, so good. If I could find where it would help if I actually found. There it is. Woo! I'm losing things. Oldie but goodie favorite. This was not what I was originally planning on using today. I was going to use a different floral set. However, like I said, before, like literally 10 minutes before I went live, I double checked and the other set I was going to use sold out completely. In fact, I think it was discontinued. So it's not even like, oh, it'll get restocked. So I pulled out my oldie but goodie favorite. I have done dozens of videos using this. When this live is over, I will link that playlist in the end screen at the end of the video, or I'll link it below depending on whatever. Because yeah, I have used this beautiful flower stamp set so many ways, it's not even funny. And I've used it for Halloween cards as well. I've done it, but why not use it again? Because it's fabulous and I love it. And mine is stained. This is a mask I'd made for one of the videos that I still use every once in a while because I fussy cut this thing out in that video. So everything should be good. And we need to heat emboss this before we do anything else. So that's the plan. We're going to use it and then we're going to make it spooky. You know, because it's Halloween. So that would help if I got this one out. So hello to everyone tuning in. There we go. And MISTI, Distress watercolor paper. Any watercolor paper is going to work. I'm going to be using Distress Oxide inks. So when I'm using Distress products, I generally reach for Distress watercolor paper because they're meant to go together, man. So we're going to stick that in the MISTI. Gonna get my super stained fabulous little stamp. This is literally what happens to photopolymer when you use it a ton. It will like eventually turn black, and that's totally fine. So we're just gonna stick them on there. Do I want to do the individual flowers? Maybe, why not? At least the center one. We could do the center one. Wasn't planning on it, but since I do have the coordinating dies, we could fit that one in there. We could fit that one in there. I might be able to fit all three. We shall see. Oh yeah, that mask was a ton of fussy cutting. Like, that's why I've kept it, even though it's literally fallen apart, because I fussy cut this little dude. It's like in pieces now. It's kind of not even really usable, but I was like, darn it, I put all that effort in. So I just remind myself that I can fussy cut. Like, I cut out everything. It's in the playlist, whatever video. I don't honestly remember anymore because I've done so many. Make sure I've got some space for the die cutting because that's what we'll be doing. I don't know yet if I'm going to use those three. I don't use them as often, but it's always nice to have them. Move this over a smidge. No. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. So then we're going to do anti-static powder. Just like so. Give it a little tappy tap. Now we're good. So, anti-static powder. Tap off the excess. Ink of choice. There we go. Seen most of your videos with the stamp set. Need to go back to your playlist. Oh yeah, I love this. You can use any large floral. Literally, this entire card was planned around a different large floral set that, like I said, was completely sold out. I do have a link below the video to Simon Says Stamp sale category. Definitely worth checking out because there have been some really good deals. That's where that one stamp set was from. And I was surprised that it was still in stock. I should have realized it was going to sell out before I even got a chance to like go live with it. So whatever. But yeah. Check out the deals while they last because they don't last very long. And I try to give everybody as much heads up as possible when I spot deals like that. And even then, I still get hate from people because I can't control the stock. And see, this stamped basically perfectly right out the get-go. The more you use your stamps, the better they stamp. Like this stamped pretty much perfectly. Okay. And then... yes, the one from the August card kit. I thought about using that one too. And then this one won out because it's just... it'll never not be a favorite for me. This doesn't need to be heat embossed. That was VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. This doesn't need to be heat embossed. I just like the heat emboss because it gives everything the raised edges so that I don't have to worry so much about things bleeding into each other and making a mess. It's like bumper pads. So, VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, because it's like an oil base and it takes a while to dry, is perfect for heat embossing. So then we cover it with clear embossing powder and tap off the excess, just like so. And then we're good to go. And then we put the lid back on so that I don't spill it, like so. Hello to the Netherlands. And then I already had my heat tool plugged in so that I can heat emboss this. I should have done this before I started the video, but again, scrambling, man. Ran out of time. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can show this because it's always difficult. I talk about it in all my videos, but it's really difficult to show. Okay. There. So when I say smooth, shiny, melted, that. See that? Smooth, shiny, melted. This, see how this has got a reflection, but this doesn't? Ignore this. Like none of this over here has even been melted. But this just started. But see how it's not reflecting? That's what I mean by dull, grainy areas. It's not melted. So hopefully that makes sense when I talk about if you missed a spot, you hit it with the heat tool and you only go till it's smooth, shiny, melted. You don't keep blasting heat at it. Once it does this and melts, move on to another section. Because the more you blast heat at it, you will liquefy the embossing powder and it will literally soak in to your cardstock. And that's where you'll notice it especially on like sentiments, like say you're doing like white embossing powder on black cardstock and it's like, why does it look like almost gray and it's not raised? 99% of the time it's because you overheated it, it liquefied and it went into the cardstock. I think I got it all. Everything is shiny. So we're good. We're good. Everything's good. Awesome. And yeah, I don't use little holders or anything. I've got asbestos fingers, and I also don't give a shit about my nails, which is funny. Kathy Zielski is the queen at keeping her nails fabulous, you know? She's wonderful at that. And I find it funny only because I'm an actual certified professional nail technician, for those that aren't aware. And mine are janky. Like, they're chipped and filthy, and I need to repaint them, and I just haven't had time. And yeah, it just is what it is. But yeah, Kathy's wonderful, and she keeps her nails very, very nice. And I appreciate it. And then there's me that I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure I melted some of my nail polish off with my heat tool at one point. Is what it is. Don't really care. I want to stamp with brown ink. Which one you buys? Has to be working with pencils and alcohol markers. Pretty much anything that's a water-based. I don't use brown inks for stamping with alcohol marker coloring, so I honestly don't have a recommendation for that. But generally, anything that is a water-based. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a few out there. There's a couple that come to mind, but they're no longer available, so I don't even know. I don't even know. Okay, this is mostly clean because I'm going to need it later, probably to stamp on the inside of my card. And then, I missed something about the batter press. I don't even know, you guys. Oh, cleaning scissors. I did a video on that years ago, actually, on cleaning scissors and getting the sticky gunk off of them. But yeah, if you've got sticky buildup on your scissors, alcohol. Hand sanitizer will work too. But just put a little bit of, take like a baby wipe. The higher percentage of alcohol, the better. 70% bare minimum, but if you can get 90% or above, it works great. And then you can just clean your scissors. Like, you just take them, joop, and then just obviously be careful. Scissors have sharp edges, but if you've got like gunky buildup, yeah, pure alcohol, a little bit of hand sanitizer, doop, doop. Usually if it's like really gunky, I'll open it up really well and say there's like blobs or whatever, and I'll just go like this with, you know, some alcohol, hand sanitizer, etc. Clean it off, and you're good to go. Just, again, be careful. Scissors are sharp. Okay. Anywho. I'm going to take this guy off of here for now because I'll reposition him later. So we'll just stick him back so I don't lose him. Stick this back so I don't lose that. And then get that out of the way so that I have some space. There's that. And then we're going to watercolor, which freaks everybody out sometimes. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah, Teflon will resist most stickiness, but it gets to a point that it's going to build up. Depending on what people are cutting and everything else, it can only resist so much. And then, yeah, a little bit of pure alcohol. It'll work. Ugh. MISTI, same thing. Just use alcohol. There's cleaners and stuff you can get. Generally, honestly, Ultra Clean, like Ultra Clean stamp cleaner. I'll use that when it gets really built up. A little bit of hand sanitizer will usually work. The only thing, obviously, and I talk about this, do not use alcohol. No alcohol, no hand sanitizer, no abrasive, harsh chemicals on photopolymer, which includes the grip mats, photopolymer stamps, etc. It will ruin it. But hard plastic, glass, etc., alcohol away. Swipe, wipe, you're good. It'll get icky. That's fine. So, there we go. There we go. Okay. Oxide inks. That's what we're going to use to watercolor. Especially if you are a newbie or you want to attempt, you know, watercolor, aka a newbie. Oxides are a good kind of beginner step into watercolor, in my opinion. One, they're water reactive. Two, the formula of them just makes it easier, you know, and a lot of people have oxides, you know. You don't need to invest into fancy watercolor palettes or anything like that. Ain't nothing wrong with them. I've got plenty, but oxides are just wonderful. And again, I've done 5 bajillion videos doing the, I'm getting sidetracked by the comments. I'm doing the watercoloring with. I do the watercolor. Anyway, Halloween colors. I picked out Halloween colors. For those asking, with the giveaway for the card, it's in the blog post. Link below. That's yep. Okay. Let's just get the colors smushed out, and then we'll start making things. So I chose my first, like, this is like my basic Halloween palette for the most part. Carved Pumpkin, Wilted Violet, Twisted Citron. Black Soot might be used. We'll see. I might use it for something else. I don't know. I pulled it out, but whatever. And then for darker shades for these, Crackling Campfire, Villainous Potion, Rustic Wilderness. You don't need, you know, all the things, but yeah, this is going to give it some extra depth. So we're going to smush some onto a non-porous surface, just like so. So I got my Carved Pumpkin. We'll add a bit of Crackling Campfire. And then we've got Twisted Citron. And this is like one of my favorite go-to combos when it comes to greens for whatever, regardless of season. I have a thing for Twisted Citron and Rustic Wilderness. They just, they're perfect. Love them so much. And then we got our, do a little more Wilted Violet, because I think 2 of these flowers I'll do purple, 1 I'll do orange, just because I can. And then Villainous Potion, which is beautiful. They're all beautiful. I love all the colors. Equal opportunities, man. All the colors are beautiful. Okay. So we got our colors. I have big jar watercolor, my big watercolor jar with water. And then I'm probably going to use smaller brush. I probably don't need this big guy. These are just Altenew watercolor brushes. Any watercolor brushes are going to work. Any brushes. I also need a cloth. Got to keep cloth on hand. Something to wipe my brushes in between colors if there's too much water, etc., etc. So, and yes, everything is good on my end. Yeah, check your settings. There's a little cog along the bottom. Along the bottom of your screen on YouTube. And if you click on the settings, you can click on quality and you can go to like HD. It does depend on your internet connection too. So if your internet connection isn't the greatest, and again, everything also that I am using so far is listed and linked below the video. It's also linked in the live chat. Let me zoom in so that you guys can get, there we go, a better look at what I plan on doing. So when it comes to painting with oxides, I just literally, there we go, swirl my brush in a bit of water, swirl it in the oxide, and then start painting. And I am not doing anything super crazy fancy. I'm going to add a bit more water to thin this out a bit. Because when it comes to, like I said, Oxide inks are very forgiving. And they're creamy, and I love them, and they watercolor like a dream. And because this is going to be a Halloween card, who cares if it's messy or goes outside the lines or anything else? Because it just don't matter. So I got that one. And I may still use these guys. And yes, my watercolor water is clean today. I had to. Mine gets black when I'm doing like splatter and those sorts of things. My watercolor water I use to clean my brushes, so it'll get full of like acrylic paint and gouache and all that kind of stuff, and it's not pretty. So I rinsed it out before I started. So I did the same thing with this one. Just like that. You know, nothing crazy. And since this one's probably going to get layered on top of this one, so this one doesn't really matter. It's just you're barely gonna see it. This is the one I'm gonna concentrate on and add the darker areas. So that's when I go in with the darker shade, which is Crackling Campfire. And we're just gonna paint this in where, with this stamp, this is another reason why I love this stamp so much. All the detail has been added in, all the line detail, which denotes like shading, is already there. Like, it's been done for everyone, so you don't really need to think very much. So I can go in and add those darker areas. I can go back in with a bit more of the carved pumpkin, add a little bit more of the crackling campfire, and just kind of build up a bit of those darker areas. Just like so. Add it like that. Kind of scribble it around a bit. And there we go. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. And it's always good practice. Could use the same color. Yes, you can use distress inks. It'll just be different look. Distress inks are more transparent than oxides, but they also do watercolor very, very nicely because they're very water reactive. It'll just give it a different look. I like the creaminess of the oxides. It's just personal preference. So there we go. And no, the intern didn't drink the paint water. He jokes about it, but I'm more close to drinking the paint water than he is. That's why I always keep it usually off to the side where I can't reach it, because I use like mason jars to drink out of a lot of times. And yeah. But yeah, don't drink the paint water. It's not good for you. Okay. So then we'll do the purple ones. And same thing. These ones I'm just literally slapping the color on. Just like this. I'm not really worried about how it looks, anything like that, because again, I will use the individual ones to layer on top of this. So this is in a sense almost like an underpainting, but for those that end up seeing it underneath, though, it's like, oh, so nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. So we'll just get the color on these. Just like so. Get them all filled in. Add a little more water. Make sure I'm still on screen, because, you know, that happens too. There we go. Okay. And then for the individual ones, we will do, again, start with the wilted violet. Slap that color on. Add a little bit more. And then while things are still wet, go in with the Villainous Potion, which is much, much darker. And we just drop it in where all the line detail is, aka the base of the petals. Underneath. Just like that. Add a little bit more right there. And then I have the coordinating wafer dies. Everything is linked. This set does have a coordinating die set. It is pricey because it's a huge die set, but you can also fussy cut this. It is possible. I have done it. So yeah. Okay. And then we just repeat on the rest of this. So wilted violet first. Just kind of paint that in there. Wipe off my brush a bit to soak up some of the excess because I had a lot. And then I go in with the Villainous Potion and just kind of drop that in all the darker areas. Kind of curl up in there wherever there's all stamp lines. There. Okay. And then we switch it around and we're doing the exact same thing to this one. So we'll go in with the wilted violet. Add a little more water. Swirl that up. Paint this down. Boop, 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 boop. And then we go in with the darker one. This is an Altenew brush. They're linked. It's a set of 4, 5 brushes. I forget. And this one's the size 1 from the set. For the most part, brushes don't make a difference. For the most part. For what we do, once you really get comfortable with watercoloring, you'll start noticing a difference if you upgrade to good brushes. I honestly think the Altenew brushes are really good. I bought these myself because I was curious, and I've really been liking them. And I have everything from like little cheapo Ranger brushes, which those work great too, my little tonic brushes that I've used in a million videos that are like under $10 for like a set of 10. They're cheap. Those work fine. The biggest difference you notice with higher quality brushes is they come to more of a point, and it's how much water they can hold. But again, for the most part, especially when people are just starting out, you're not going to notice a difference in brushes. I'm a bit of a brush snob, so I notice a difference. But even then, I will still use cheapo brushes. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. So add little darker bits. And then gonna blend a little bit of that just so I don't have like super harsh lines, but also not too worried about it. Actually make this one a little darker. Going with that. Blend that a bit. So yeah, super simple. Super simple. And then we're going to make this bud. Let's make this one orange. Since I've got 2 purples, let's make this one orange. It's the same thing. We go in with the carved pumpkin. We'll paint that. Just like so. And then I go in with the crackling campfire. And let that do its thing. Wipe off my brush a little bit. Move things around. There we go. Well, yeah, I don't recommend brushes for acrylic painting. There's watercolor brushes, and then there's many types of brushes on the market, but generally, any sort of round brush will work. They're fine. Because yeah, the Ranger ones that I've used, the tonic ones I've used, they aren't labeled as watercolor brushes. They're just little brushes. They work fine. Okay. So then we got to do our greenery, which is where I'm going to pull in the Twisted Citron and the Rustic Wilderness, because those colors make me happy. There we go. So, same old, same old. Start with the lighter color. Lay that down. Make sure I'm still on screen. And then add in the Rustic Wilderness, which is considerably darker. And I just add that in towards like the spine of the leaves. That's it. Super simple. So then I'm going to use just the Rustic Wilderness for these unopened buds to give it a little bit more definition from the other greenery. So you just paint that in just like so. And then we go back in with the Twisted Citron. And then tap in little bits of the Rustic Wilderness. And you let it do its thing. So then, natural bristles are best for watercolors. Honestly, no. Like, synthetic bristles have come a really long way over the last few years, and again, I've used both. I own very high-end natural bristle watercolor brushes, and I also have some that are synthetic. I think the Altenew ones might be synthetic. Don't quote me on that though, but I think these might be synthetic, and these are really good watercolor brushes. So it was the thing for a long time because the old synthetic brushes were absolute hot garbage, but nowadays, nowhere near that. So, here we go. There we go. The Stampin' Dies are in stock. Yes, everything I used as of right now is in stock. It's linked below. Everything is listed. Everything's linked. We're all good to go there. I'm going to mix these two together. Create a slightly different shade just because technically this little leaf cluster is different than those ones. But yes, everything I have listed and linked in the description below the video as of right now. As of us being live, because of course I cannot control the stock. I get some really angry comments sometimes even emails and messages from people really mad at me for promoting something and it's out of stock. And I'm like, most of the time it'll be restocked, you know, depending on what it is, but I don't have control over that. But I do check before I go live or before I post a video. Okay, so use that same Rustic Wilderness to paint that. There we go. And then go back to the Twisted Citron. Again, always making sure that I'm still on camera, that everything's still working, everyone's still here. Go like that, like that, like that. And then we take the darker and you just tap it in along the spine. Doo, 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 doo. That's it. And then I didn't do the flower centers. So to do the flower centers, we need a brown. I didn't bother pulling out a brown. I can make it myself. We can just mix these colors together and make some mud. So orange and green and purple make mud, which is a good shade for flower centers. Brown. That's what I talk about when I'm like, oh, if you mix these colors, you're going to get mud. That's what I mean. So we can add that to the flower centers. I can tap some in there. I can tap some in on the ends of all the little stamens. Just kind of go like that. Same thing with this one. Not worried about it being perfect. And I'm technically not at all worried about these centers because you're not going to see them, but just because I have the color on my brush, it's like whatever. We'll just throw that in there just because we can. So yeah, just do. There we go. So now the flower centers have their own little bits. A little bit there. Soak up a little bit of the excess. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Thanks, Libby. And yes, the unpaid intern is not here. Sorry. So sorry, people. Sometimes I swear people would be more happy if I just stepped back and let him do everything and he could just be the face of this channel, which he doesn't even like when I say that, but I'm like, dude, it's so true. It's so true. Everyone loves him. I don't blame them. It's just, yeah. Just me, flying solo. I think we'll all survive. Hopefully. Hopefully. We shall see. Okay. There we go. So we got our florals. And then let me, yeah, okay. There we go. And then, so I'm going to let these fully dry. They're mostly dry, but there's still wet areas. So I got to let this dry before we do any die cutting. And then what I want to do is find my card base. There we go. So top folding A2 white note card. Nothing spectacular there. And then this little guy. This came out, I think, last year or the year before. This is the Web stencil. Again, it's listed and linked with the supplies. We're going to use this to add some texture to my card base. So I got a little grippy mat to hold things. And I didn't link this, but Post-it tape. Same old, same old. Just so I don't get anything past the score line on the top of the card. There we go. And then we'll get, I'm just trying to think how I want to place this. Because I think I'm going to put it there. So if I offset the spider web, more so, you got to be careful with this guy. He is delicate. He is a delicate little web. There we go. No, get where you belong. Get there. I'm happy with that. happy with that. It doesn't need to be perfect. I need a blending brush. There we go. Okay. And then pretty sure I used black ink on this last time, so let's give this a good scrub. Oh yes, I did use black ink. Not really the end of the world. I may end up actually using some black ink. We'll see. I have Lost Shadow. Ooh. Where'd it go? It's here somewhere. Where did it go? There it is. Lost Shadow. Very nice light gray. And we'll use that with this stencil. I got. There we go. And I'm also using my fingers just to hold it down because, again, this is a very delicate stencil. And normally I would use my paper pouncers for this, but same thing. I didn't pull those out either. I was so prepared today, you know? Just super prepared. The most prepared. Yep. And besides, nothing needs to be perfect. We're going to cover all this in splatter anyway, as is tradition. Oh yeah, it's going to look awesome. It's going to look amazing. Okay. Let's add a little, just a smidge. I'm barely touching my brush. Barely touching my brush to the black soot. Like, hardly at all. And then very lightly blending it. Just to give it a little more depth. There we go. Okay. So, love it. Again, always be very careful. It's a very, very delicate little stencil. Perfection. So we got that. And then, I think, still not fully dry. It's almost dry. Let's move this over for a sec. Wipe that up. Boop. There we go. So I want to add splatter to everything. So we need to die cut this. We'll set this aside. We're going to die cut these guys. Where's the wafer dies? There's the wafer dies. Oh, the paper pouncers are awesome. I love my paper pouncers. Especially for things like oxide inks and pigment inks. They are so good for that. Okay. This guy. I've used this wafer die so many times. Very much against this edge. So we need it more like that. Line her up. Gotta line it up. And then, am I gonna be able to fit this whole thing on one? Possibly not. Let's see. No. So, let's make my life a little bit easier. Okay. So we'll just die cut these separately. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we want it a little bit like that. Yeah. So, line everything up. Get it where it needs to be. Always harder to do when I'm live, of course. As is tradition. Kind of making sure I got everything. And I'm going to tape it into place. But also, while saying that, again, perfection is overrated. I'm not too worried about it. So now we're going to deck edit. And a top plate would help too. Okay, there we go. Always helps to have the top plate when you're die cutting. There we go. Okay. Oh, missed a spot. There we go. So I got that one. And then these guys, they each have their own little wafer dies. So we can line these guys up. Just like so. Make sure they're in place. Yep. And then die cut these ones. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. We're good. We're good. Okay. Alright. So. Flowers. Our die cut. Like that. Like that. Don't need that anymore. And then, where's my little card base? So then we got my little card base. And the plan is to kind of have it like that. Yes. We're going to have it like that. And then we'll have those. We're going to have a little bit of bear's twine. And I die cut some little spider. I have plans. I have plans. Some days it's trying to get the words out of my head. Explain the thought process. So yeah. Yeah. This is what we're going to do. So, take this off the grip mat. Don't need the grip mat. Where's the cover for my grip mat? There we go. Put a little wrinkly plastic back on there so I can get it out of the way. So that's that. And yeah, this is, I like this. So I don't want to cover that up. So this is pretty much how we're going to do this. And then, yeah. Yeah, do I want to pop this up with any foam tape? I don't think I do. I think I want to just adhere it as is, because these I'm going to pop up to give it dimension. Yeah. Yeah. So let's just put some glue and then I have to do the inside though before I adhere the end. Okay, method to the madness. All right, method to the madness. Let's stamp the image on the inside before I do anything else. Before I do anything else. So I'm going to stick this into there. This is why I cleaned off the stamp. Managed to get schmutz on the inside already, but whatever. So we'll stick him like that. Yeah. And then I'm going to ink him up with that, where did it go? Lost Shadow. There we go. Lost Shadow. Oxide ink. Because this will keep it subtle. Meh. Yeah. Oh, this stamp is so freaking pretty. Like, no wonder I've done like literally 24 plus videos using it. It's beautiful. Stamp it in Lost Shadow ink. Add a wedding themed sentiment. Done. Done. Oh, a little gold splatter. Perfect wedding card, you know? Anyway. I'm pretty sure I've done something similar in one of the many videos I've done using this. So, got that. And then, gonna stick this back in its package. Now, specifically talking sentiments, I'm gonna use this, which I've used with this stamp set with Halloween cards, but it's an oldie but goodie favorite. This has been out for, I don't even know. How many years ago did this come out? 6 years ago? This is an old good, and it's still available. It's linked in the supplies. This is the Handlettered Halloween stamp set. And yeah, I love it. So, I was gonna use, I think So Spooky on the front. I'll use the Happy Halloween on the inside because I can. So, and there's also a little spider stamp. So we've got Happy Halloween. So we'll center that little guy. Oh, he looks good. And then we'll also stick a little spider. And I've talked about this many times. Where is my verse? There it is. I have pretty severe arachnophobia for many reasons, but like not fun arachnophobia. But when it comes to making Halloween cards, spider stamps and wafer dies and all those sorts of things, I'm totally fine with. Love it. Totally fine with when it's paper, not when it's the real thing. I just don't have words for what it does to me. So anyway. Okay. So there's the inside of our card. I'll get that little guy out of there. And that little guy out of there. And then this guy out of here. So there's the inside. Got some ink on there. I can put that away. Yeah, only Halloween spiders are acceptable. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yes. Okay. So we do that. Now, yeah. I want to let, same thing. I want to let this dry because like I said at the beginning, Nocturne, like VersaFine Clair inks do take a little while to dry. You can heat set them. I rarely do that. But yeah. They take a minute to dry, but I am going to use heat just because we're live and I don't have patience. What else is new? So I'll just use the lower setting on my heat tool to speed along the drying process. I was frozen last week when a spider came up behind my work laptop. That's happened to me because I work in the garage. The one day, I think I talked about this in a recent live. The one, like usually I have my laptop like right here when I'm like editing and stuff. And it was sitting here and no word of a lie, like a monster size spider just like crawled out from right behind the, like right in front of me. And I nearly threw up because it came out of nowhere. And my biggest fear, because it has happened in here because I'm in the garage, I've had them fall from the ceiling on me and it just, anyway, love it. Love that for me. Anytime I feel, I'm always like, and now I'm like thinking about it and I'm almost getting goosebumps. Just, okay, we're gonna back to card making. Let's not give Amy a complete... I've had enough meltdowns on camera for everyone. I've cried way too many times on a live. Let's not cry over the spiders, okay? Okay, we're good. We're good. Everything's great. Everything's great. We're fine. Amy is not insane. Only a little bit. Just a smidge. Anyway. Okay. I have a tarantula that is 23 years old. That's cool, I guess. Good for you. Okay. Let's get all the things out of the way. I don't need this anymore. I'll put that back there. Okay. Okay. Let's adhere first. Yes, that is what I want to do. That is what I want to do. I want to adhere. Does it really matter if I can just... Doesn't usually matter. I do this sometimes. I don't do it all the time. Where's my little pencil? Here's a pencil. I just need a pencil. Okay. Okay, Libby, yeah, not fun. Not fun. Like, I don't mind it when they're little. Like, I've had little teeny ones that'll come that just slowly drift down from the ceiling. The little ones don't freak me out. Like, don't trigger my arachnophobia. It's the bigger ones that just, Anyway. Okay. I just did the little pencil marks so that I don't add a bunch of glue past where I don't need to. It just saves me a little bit of aggravation and the chance of me making a huge mess, because, that happens too. I don't care per se, but if I can mitigate some of the mess that I make, it's not so bad. So, just gonna add a bit of liquid glue. Boop, boop, boop. And then we're gonna line this guy up like that. Just like that. There we go. Am I seriously considering buying a whole stamp set for one tiny spider? It is a really cute... I don't know. It's not cute. It's creepy. It's a creepy little stamp, this little spider. But it is a good image. I've used it many times. And yeah, I'm kind of particular about how things look, but the sentiments are also really good. And I've never used this little pumpkin, surprisingly, considering how long I've had it. But I've used pretty much every other stamp, especially, I love this one. But I'm going to use, I think, the So Spooky on here, because I think that'll work. But yeah, the stamp is like kind of perfection. Who'da thunk? Because again, I don't like the real thing, but stamps and wafer dies and little spider embellishments, I'm like, I can't have enough of them. They're perfect. I don't know. Okay. So we got that. And then we're going to trim off all the bits hanging off. It's not going to hurt anyone. You will survive. It's another thing I've had like literal hate mail over. I'm not even kidding. Oh, some people get really upset when I cut things off the edges of cards. And I'm like, dude, it's paper, It's not going to kill you. Not to mention your eye naturally finishes off a design if, the edges are cut off. It's just, that's how our brains work. But yeah, hate mail, man. Who'd have thunk? Anyway, so we got that. It's method to madness, because of course I'm going to add splatter. Of course I am. It's what we do around here, man. I'm going to add a little extra glue, because I missed a spot. Not like it really matters again, but boop, boop. And just do that so that it doesn't stay where you belong. Stick that down. And then, you hear the papers scream. Oh, I know. Like, my philosophy literally is, I'm not for everyone. One, my personality, definitely not for everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm fine with it. 100%. It's fine. Art, whether it's card making or just anything, is not for everyone. Like, art styles is not for everyone. That's the beauty of it. Because if we all like the same things, it would be boring. Boring. So boring. You know? But if you don't like something, whether you don't like the way someone does something or you don't like their style or their color combo or whatever it is, you're not being forced. I don't really know how else to say that to people. Like, no one's forcing you to watch, and the fact that you'll take time out of your day to like compose an email or, you know, comment or whatever to voice your hatred of whatever it is, and it's like, dude, this is free content. Like, yeah. Anyway. Yes. Thank you, Hazel. Yeah, the links are below the video. So you guys just have to make a little extra step. Expand the description box. Those that are watching live, it's in the live chat pinned at the top. Same thing. But yeah, the links are below. You can check them all out because, yeah, the Unpaid Intern's on his little play date and I'm doing all the things and I can't post them in the chat while I am live. Okay, back to what I was doing. So I'm gonna need Splat Box, Black Soot Distress Paint, my little palette again, and then my little fan brush. And because we're live and I'm petty and I love this little magnet, can't splatter without that. I'm gonna lay these out where they need to be so that they get splatter as well, but I'm going to adhere them afterwards. So we're just gonna put them into place just like that. And then we're gonna add our splatter. There we go. That's probably too much. Don't care. There we go. So we got our paint, which if you've never worked with Black Soot Distress Paint, it is extremely liquidy because Ranger does not add fillers to the distress paints. And black is the thinnest consistency. And that makes it perfect for splatter. Because you don't have to water it down. Because other craft paints, things like that, a lot of times you'll have to water them down to get them, you know, to a consistency to splatter. And a lot of times, because they have so much filler in them, the minute you start watering them down, they no longer are black. But the Black Soot Distress Paint, yes. And that's what makes it more spooky Halloween goodness. And same thing, if you don't like splatter, you don't have to do it. Because I've received a lot of hate mail over the years over the splatter. People. Like, it just is what it is. And it could be worse. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Is there ever too much? Not in my books. Yeah. There we go. And always. And this is why I end up having to rinse out my watercolor water because I use it to clean my brushes and it turns black when I'm using Black Soot Distress Paint. Ooh, do not wreck that, Amy. But yeah, always wash off your brush as soon as you're done using it because it is permanent. It dries permanently. You do not want to leave this on your brushes, on your palette, etc. Because black soot, more than anything else, it is pigmented, it is permanent. Like, it will literally, it stains plastic even, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with it. But yeah, you don't want to leave it sitting in your brush because it'll dry on your brush and then you just, it's done for at that point. So carefully get that out of there. I missed something in the chat. Thanks, everybody. There we go. Back where? Yeah. So we've got splatter. All this needs to dry, obviously. So we're just gonna move him over there. And then, I know what I forgot to do. Crap. Am I gonna be able to get? No. That's fine. It's fine. There was something else I was going to add and then I forgot, but it's too late now. And really, that's fine. It's totally fine. I need... Yeah, I want the sentiment on black. Let's trim this down a bit. There we go. Ooh. Okay. We need heat emboss sentiment for this. There you go. I love that so many people have gotten into splatter because specifically because of me. It makes me laugh. Welcome to the addiction. It's fun. It's fun. And again, if you don't like it, that is totally okay. You know? The only reason I'm petty about it is because someone decided to be a troll and turn it into a huge deal and went after other smaller makers and said some very insulting things, and I snapped. That person's been blocked from my channel, so they can't leave comments because they kept coming back and leaving like really rude comments, things like that. And I was just like, dude, we're done. We are so done. So it has now become my little petty agenda that splatter with all the L's. La splatter. Anyway, because again, I'm petty. I can't help it. Okay. So, more embossing powder. This time, white embossing powder. Yeah, okay. Okay. So we'll do that. So, anti-static powder. This time, just clear embossing ink. And we'll stamp our sentiment with that. I'll ink it up. Make sure I've got full coverage of that. Get those out of the way. And then we're gonna coat this with some detail white embossing powder. Tap off the excess. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Libby, you missed all the drama. It was literally, I'm not even kidding. Like, it was nuts. Like, I don't have a problem. Again, I don't have a problem when someone comes after me. It doesn't really faze me. I've received hate mail and about some of the most ridiculous, benign things. And it doesn't faze me. I've got a thick skin. I don't care. It's when people go after like smaller creators, newer creators, and act like bullies or they're insulting, things like that. That's when I will snap. You know, like I'll call someone out for being a jerk to me because, you know, I'm not going to take it. But it makes me extra super spicy angry when I have other makers come out and contact me and they're like, oh, that person was saying, and like they send me screenshots, everything. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not here to play. I will start an entire vendetta because there's no need for any of it. It's paper, people. Seriously. Like, we're making cards and we're having fun. If you are just miserable, therapy? Really? And yes, I am grumpy. It's just, you know, I suffer from an extreme case of RBF. And I'm also very blunt. Can't help it. That's how I am. And that definitely rubs people the wrong way because I'm blunt. I just, why bother? Like, we will cut to the chase and I'll just say it like it is. And then I get people clutching their pearls and freaking out, and it just is what it is. And even me talking about this now, I'm well aware because then there's going to be comments and then I get more hate mail. Because when I discuss stuff like this in lives, I'm not even kidding. People get some, very few, because most of you guys are absolutely phenomenally amazing. Amazing people. I love my people. So yeah, you guys are all great, but there's always a couple people that just, I don't even think this one actually has a coordinating wafer die. That's hilarious. I think this one doesn't. So I'm going to have to fussy cut it, which I'm fine with. Yeah, it doesn't. Boo! I forgot. That's okay. I can fussy cut. We'll survive. Anyway, when I say things like I have been, that I get more hate mail over it and just people getting like really upset and they're just like, I am so sick of your complaining and your negativity and whatever else. And I'm like, okay, bye. Anyway. RBF, resting bitch face. I have it. I suffer from that affliction. I suffer greatly. It's why I usually have to tell people I'm joking, I'm being sarcastic, etc. Because it's like you look at my face and I look miserable. It's like that's just who I am. Okay. Anyway, ooh, I missed back. Thank you, Marilee, for the super chat. I very much appreciate it. The link to sign up for the card is in the blog post. And the blog post is already posted. I'll edit it later too to add like the photos like I always do. So anyway, fussy cutting. I have a video on fussy cutting. It's a very old video. I posted it more than a decade ago. It's like, I think it's literally titled like how to cut out stamped images or something. You know, from way back in the day when we didn't have coordinating wafer dies for everything. But yeah, regardless of what type of scissors you're using, I cut closer to the base of the scissors, not the tips. That gives you smoother cuts. I hold it up so it's very close to my face. Like my face is like, you know, right here. So I can see what I'm doing because I'm getting old and my eyesight is nowhere near as good as it used to be. And then yeah, smooth cuts. I generally keep my elbows on my desk because that helps stabilize so I'm not shaky. And smooth cuts, and I move the paper more than I move the scissors. There we go. Oh, I'm surprised you've never heard that. Clutching pearls has been around for a very long time. And people do it a lot. So yeah. And I just get a kick out of it when people and because generally, yeah, people are clutching their pearls over, again, very benign things. Especially when it comes to crafting. I'm like, dudes, it's not that serious. Like, just chill, my peeps. Just chill. It's all good. It's just paper and ink and fun, happy times. That's all it is. So, yeah. That's all it is. Okay. There we go. It sometimes helps to keep your tongue out when you're doing it. You know? That helps too. Oh my goodness. There we go. And it's in the blog post. It's linked below the video. My husband has a resting villain face. That's hilarious. I would just tell him he has RBF. Is what it is. Libby, I've been known to make crafters clutch their pearls at times. Well, yeah, you and me, Libby, we I think agree on a lot of things. Yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you there, 100%. It is what it is. Okay, this is definitely not dry because I can see some of my little paint blobbies are still very shiny, which means they are not dry, and we do not want to smear the splatter. That would kind of suck. But I'm going to carefully take these off of there to let them dry. Just like so. And then still haven't decided. I'm probably going to use, they're paper, they're not real, although I'm going to have to put them back. Like I have them sitting off to the side. This is the little this one is creepy. This is the Spider Wafer Die. Again, it's linked in the slides. I can't have these like sitting out, you know, because I will freak out, you know, because I'll, you know, be doing something else and you just in the corner of your eye sort of a thing. And if I saw this on my desk, like on the edge, I would start crying most likely. So I need to use them. And then, yeah, I'm probably gonna use a couple of them, but even having them sitting here, these ones are kind of freaky, but I'm gonna add little highlights to give them little eyeballs or something so they don't look as creepy. Because yeah, it's just, it is what it is. Anyway, a little bit of water. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is great. Yeah. Except for the splatter is taking its sweet time to dry, which is always so fun. Did I want to use the bats? I don't think I want to use the bats. Yeah, exactly. Like these look a little too realistic, you know, sitting. And I just, even doing this, knowing what they were, it gave me a little, like, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I want a real one. It's cute when they're paper. Dry splatter. Dry. Like, come on, man. So yeah. Gonna have that. We're gonna have a sentiment. And we're gonna have baker. I want to add baker's twine, but again, it's just taking its sweet time. Okay, I need to turn my little fan on because I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm sweating, you guys. Like, sweating. Ah. Okay, got my fan on. Hopefully everything's still running. Everyone's behaving themselves. We're good. Being live and being unsupervised, you never know what kind of stuff I'm going to get into. Okay, I am going to speed this up a little bit, just using my heat tool. You know? Anything can be Halloween if you believe strongly enough. Although I do have a thing for florals and Halloween. I don't know why. I just do. And yes, still on the baker's twine kick. Love me some baker's twine. Okay. Yep. Pretty much good. These guys, not so much. So these ones, same thing. And I'm just using the lower speed because my heat tool has 2 speeds, 1 and 2. 2 is what I use for heat embossing because it's like, Rrr! The lower speed is what I use for drying things, and you just keep it moving, you know, because we're not trying to remelt the embossing powder. For those that are watching since the beginning, that's not a good thing. You don't want that. I'm just using it to dry. And again, asbestos hands, the heat doesn't bother me. I keep it moving. I'm not trying to melt my skin. Everything's good. But you can hold this with little tweezers or a clothespin or whatever, you know, or let it just air dry. We're live and I don't have patience. But this is also probably how I melted my nail polish at whatever point, because yeah, happens. Whatever. No idea how that happened. This is a gorgeous person. You're inundated with the real thing. Oh yeah, my house is covered with them. Like none of our neighbors have it like us. My house is covered constantly. This time of year is the worst. It is covered in spider webs. It is disgusting. I don't even like leaving my house because I'm constantly like, as I walk out the door, especially the back door here in the garage, I'm like, like just hunched over, making sure something's not gonna fall in my hair. Ah. Oh, you're way down south, Libby. Yeah, no. The further south you go, the bigger they get. It's one of the things I like about living up in the frozen north is the winter comes and it gets to 40 and 50 below. They can't survive when it's that cold. All right. Okay, I'll let those sit and do. Wait, let's put that back over there. Got my fan running. Everything is going. My fake little spiders that are still kind of creeping me out. Those are good. This is good. Let's add some baker's twine because that's what I like to do. Because the joys of having ADHD and all the other things is I fixate on certain things for an indeterminate length of time. And the current fixation for a while now has been baker's twine again. And I am okay with that because I love baker's twine. So we got some baker's twine. I just wrapped it around my card front. Gonna tie it in a little bow. Just like that. Just like so. Reverse tweezers. That pinches the knot. And then I can make a little rabbit ear. And then you bring the other one up and around and through. And you technically will have a bow. But before I pull anything tight, you gotta fiddle with it and zhuzh it a bit to get it the way I want it. So once I get it the way I want it, pull it tight, remove the tweezers, pull it tight again, pinch it with my thumb, pull the tails to make it a little bit smaller because I made it a bit bigger than I wanted. Tap it. There we go. We got a little bow. I would say, yeah, oh yeah, I've got brooms. I have dedicated like brooms by all the doors outside and have to use them regularly to like swipe down. Like we have it's gross. And I don't know why. Like I live in suburbia. You know, I got neighbors. We all live on top of each other. It's insane. And why our house gets them all, I don't know. It's so frustrating. There we go. There we go. So we got that. Then we need some foam squares to adhere everything. So I'm going to start with this guy. I'm going to try and be careful because I'm just, oh, I think it's all dry. Yeah, it should be dry now. Should be good. We should be fine. We should be fine. And then I've got a little fruit fly in here. I think I got him, hopefully. It's the other thing about this time of year, it's so annoying. So annoying. There we go. They smell your fear, probably. Probably. But again, you can't really talk sense when you've got full-on arachnophobia. Like, it's not fun, man. It's really not fun. Here we go. So pop that one on with some foam tape. Make sure, yeah, everything looks pretty dry. This one, I'm going to put the foam tape directly on here so I can avoid where the baker's twine is. So you just go like that. Just like that. And then I'm going to line up this guy. Pop him into place. Like so. And then for this one, I want to pop it up even. I want to pop him up even more, so I'm going to use thicker foam squares. So I was using thinner foam squares before, but now I'm going to use thicker ones so that the center flower really gets popped up. Just like that. Let's get those into place. And then oh yeah, apple cider vinegar. This time of year, we end up having to have like multiple little containers of like apple cider vinegar, and if you cover it with saran wrap and poke holes in it, it's good little traps for fruit flies, and we end up having to have multiples of them, like in the kitchen especially, because like around the fruit and everything, it's so annoying. So we've got some dimension going on, and then sentiment, I think I'm going to just stick like right there. It's the same thing. I'm going to put that like that. Yes. Yes. And then stick another one. Right there. Like that. Yep. Still don't want to cover. I don't know what it is. I love like the center of the web. Okay. So do that. And then we'll add a little bit of glue. And then we'll stick him into place. Nope. Yep. 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 Okay. So we did that one. And then our creepy little spiders will like, I'm going to stick one right there. Just crawling out to scare the ever-living daylights out of somebody. But if we take a white gel pen and give them two little eyeballs, it's not so bad. Even though they're kind of off center, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. Things don't need to be perfect. And then this guy, do we want to tuck this one like Yeah, we'll tuck that one in over there. Boop, boop, boop. So we'll add a bit of glue. We'll tuck this guy right there. And then same thing, if we give him 2 little eyeballs. Sorry, got another fruit fly. If we give him 2 little eyeballs, it's not so bad. And while I've got this out, I might as well, I can add little random dots and highlights. Just, why not, you know? Add some little dots to the stamens. Use a really light hand and add some little highlights. Just gives everything a little extra something. Making sure still on camera, everything's still working, everybody's still here, hopefully. Hopefully. Just like so. We'll add a few more little dotty bits. Add that. Add some dots. Add some more little highlights to the greenery. Add some little white dots too, because why not? Little like starbursts, things like that. Just because we can. Just because we can. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then I think that's it. Yeah, because the other stuff I'd pulled out that I linked to that I was not going to use. We did it. Look at me doing a live all by myself. Okay. Let me put some things away. So, there we go. We got our creepy little spiders and our fabulous little spider web and my absolute all-time favorite stamp set that I have used more times than I can count. And those that have joined in later, I will, after this live is over, in the end screen, I'll link to the playlist I have using this stamp set. Because if you're new, I have dozens of videos using this specific stamp set because it came out many, many years ago and I have used it so many times because it's one of my favorites. I've done Halloween cards with this stamp set because I love it. So there's the card. There's the inside. Just like so. And then what I can do is I can do this like that, hopefully. There we go. Let me just a little bit out and then I can switch over. Haha. There we go. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Okay. So yeah, everything worked. Shockingly. Shockingly. Seriously. You never know with me and lives what will or will not happen. Things are a little bit bonkers, usually. But things worked. And yes, this, because I'm doing this one alone and I don't have my little intern to help, the giveaway for this is in my blog post, which is already linked below the video. Just, it's where it says supplies and then link to blog post for more info. Click on that, takes you to the blog post. It's the same style of form. Put in your name and address in the form. It's all on the blog post. And then, like I always do, I'll take photos I'll edit the blog post, add the photos, the link to this video, etc. And I'll edit the supplies. I didn't use anything extra this time, but I'll remove the few things that I didn't use. And I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all a ton. But yes, I can do lives on my own. Well, I can do everything on my own. The only reason that Chris helps is, and it actually it reflects on what I was talking about earlier with like the hate mails and the random trolls. It's not very often. Again, I can't stress that enough to people, that I genuinely believe that card making is one of the best groups, not just as a hobby. You know, you gotta love card making. That's why we're here, obviously. But as a collective of people, I do think card making is one of the best groups of people, because if you have makers or anything that you watch, and if you participate in other communities in other areas of the internet, you are probably very familiar with just how utterly insane people are. Like, absolutely horrific. And like and vast majorities of them, like, just gross, garbage, negative, ugly insanity, you know? Whereas with card making, I think the vast majority of people are awesome and positive. It's a very small percentage that are rude and condescending and miserable and whatever. But I will always call them out, because I can. It's my social media. Don't like it, don't subscribe, unfollow, whatever. But yeah, yeah, we do. Exactly, Allison. We have an awesome community. And I've built up a good one, and I weed out the ugly ones that want to be ridiculous on a regular basis. And again, because of my personality, I tend to draw them out of the woodwork. And I'm okay with that. I would rather they come after me. You know, you want to pick a fight with someone or be a donkey to someone, bring it on. You know, do that for me or towards me versus other makers, because I can handle it. You know, I have the personality for it. Let's just put it at that. I don't put up with garbage, and yeah, it just is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is all I gotta say. But I lost my entire train of thought. I'm trying to like clean up a bit because I have 10 million other things I need to get done today. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, I have been accused of being very negative, which I find funny. Because I'm not. But I get accused of being very negative, or I've been accused of being nasty when I call people out. All those sorts of things. Again, doesn't faze me in the least. I will not. I just don't put up with it. I don't cater to the nastiness. I don't cater to people causing drama, and I could go on and on and on, but I don't cater to it. I don't put up with it, and if I screenshot it and share it publicly, it's my right. Because if you want to comment and say things publicly, really is what it is. I want to start doing this. Oh, well, Libby, if you want to start doing it regularly, just let me know, because I'll join in the comments and with my big stick. Again, thankfully for the most part, really. And you know, because you've been around. For those that aren't aware, Libby is a really good maker, and she's worked with some of the biggest brands in the industry and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, people are pretty awesome. It just depends, and I'm going to be fiercely defensive of other makers, because I've witnessed it firsthand. Some that have been driven off these platforms because of the negativity, for whatever reason, because there's all sorts of things at play, but that has actually happened, and it breaks my heart, because those that like choose to share publicly, You know, they take their time and effort, whether they're doing lives or videos or shorts or just photos or whatever. You know, they're sharing of themselves, they're sharing of their creativity. And there are some people out there that are just so unbelievably miserable that just, you know, feel the need to attack and be negative and call names and just so much ridiculous crap. And I won't stand for it. I won't. I will call them out. I will shame them publicly. I don't care because there's no need for it. And yeah, I'll be your enforcer. I will be everyone's enforcer because I genuinely don't care. Like, I won't. People can come out, and I've been called every name in the book. Seriously, it's nuts. I've had the most crazy interactions with some people that are just literally to the point where I feel like I'm being gaslit and have to like call in a friend. I'm like, am I crazy? Am I imagining things? And it's like, oh no, this is just is what it is. Um, but yeah, some people just like to be miserable. They are few and far between, but for makers and content creators, and especially smaller ones that are just getting started or have a smaller audience, it can sound very loud. You know, those few can sound very loud. And no one has to put up with that. Like, it is not my biggest pet peeve is when people are like, well, you put yourself out there. And I'm like, excuse you? I've had this rant many times in lives, so I'm not, but it just, no one deserves to be name called or insulted or ridiculed or, you know, a vendetta against how we pronounce splatter versus spatter or whatever other dumb crap is the hate topic of the day. I don't even know. It's card making. It's card making. It's fun. I've literally been told that I was opening the doors to the devil and that I was like going to bring on the apocalypse because I make Halloween cards. I'm not even joking, you guys. Like, some of the drama over the years is so ridiculous. Uh, like, sometimes it just, that's why I laugh, because it's like it gets so ridiculous every once in a while that I just sit back and I'm like, dude, it's card making. It's card making. Uh, And yes, it's me. JD was one of them. She was one of the ones that was kind of driven off because of like the negativity. And it just, there was no need for it. There was absolutely no need for it. But, and like Tim Holt says, because I will repeat a Tim-ism, you know, copyright Tim Holtz, till I'm blue in the face. He has said this, and it is his phrase. I've never heard anyone say it like he says it, because the original phrase is, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I've never liked that phrase at all. I've never liked it. It's always bugged me. But I don't have the gift of words like he does. And his is, if you can't find anything kind to say, find something kind to say. Because then it removes the onus of just being, you know, stewing in your own negativity. It's like, find something nice. You don't even have to like, but it's like, you might not like Halloween cards, but it's like, you know, I really like those colors, or I really like that stamp set. And I'm not talking specifically about me and my content. I'm just, you know, what you see online in general. And it's like, find something nice to say. It's like, I really like that stencil. I really like this one thing. Like, spread a little positivity. You'd be surprised how it will come back to you in a nice way. Karma, you know? You know? But yeah, it it's a very simple thing. Too many people nowadays, and I'll just keep preaching. Too many people nowadays find it's too easy to sit on your keyboard, just, you know, you're on your phone and you're miserable. I get it. I get it. You know, it is amazing. That is also part of it too, because us makers that are putting ourselves out there, whether they're showing their face or not, we are real human beings. Humans. Real. Shocker. You know, we have feelings too. And while mine are very, very numb and buried deep down now, and my skin is like this thick, doesn't mean that other makers are the same, you know? And you'd be surprised sometimes how just one nice comment can totally brighten someone's day. And that applies to me and to everyone else, you know? It just, yeah. And yes, like Leah said, it puts you on the search for something good. Like, find something kind to say. It's not difficult, you know? And by being positive, it's a little more uplifting than just being a miserable jerk. Really. Regardless of where you are. And if it's not creative content and it's just mind-numbing brain rot content, because there is a lot of that on the internet, and I'm not gonna even come up with examples. There is so much brain rot on the internet. So much garbage. I don't even have words for the amount of garbage. When it's that kind of crap, I just either unfollow or, you know, make it so that that channel is not recommended to me anymore, or block any of those sorts of things. Because it's like, there's literally nothing nice to say when it's like fishing garbage or just trying to get a reaction out of people. There's so much. There's so much. So it's like, I just step back, block, ignore, whatever, find something more positive to interact with. So, yeah. And I know I'm pretty much speaking to the choir with this, because those of you that watch my lives, the vast majority, again, you guys get my personality and you understand, and you've heard me go on about this many, many times. And I'll still go on about it because, one, it is my channel. That is another thing that really gets some people clutching them pearls, is that I bring this up and that I talk about it and everything else, and how dare I, blah, 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 whatever. And again, it's my channel. It's mine. It's my name on it, my brand, my everything. Like I always say, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad. And even him, he can't tell me what to do either. Like, petty, stubborn queen. That should be like the next tattoo I get or something. Whatever. But anyway, that's all my preaching and randomness. I just needed to like get it out there. I have no shameless plug. I love Kathy Zielski. She's the best. I've talked to everyone. I am her #1 fan. I am the queen of the Kathy Zielski fan club. I love when her like shameless plugs intro, like clip that she does when she's live sometimes, and then her like her like elevator music. My brain stopped. Elevator music. Love it. Love it. I don't really have any shameless plugs other than just stay tuned. I have a ton of videos coming, as always. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. It's hard when I'm doing yes. That's true, Ellen. 100% manners. And Tim, same thing. Tim talked about this. It's not available online anymore. That's the other thing. Those that watch Tim Holtz live, highly recommend. Especially this time of year, because he's live like every Saturday. Dude, seriously, like he was live for like 3.5 hours yesterday. It was amazing. Oh, the inspiration. His makers, I don't even have words. My jaw, I was working the whole time he was live, but I had it on my computer and I was trying to leave comments, but seriously, his makers, I don't even have words for how insanely talented they are and creative and amazing. And just, anyway, his lives, before and after, like at the beginning of his lives and afterwards, he will talk. And you can learn so many great nuggets. And those get edited out afterwards, for those that aren't familiar. So there's a lot of little Timisms. Like I have literally like I write them in my planner when he says something sometimes, because I was like, that's something I want to remember. But he did an analogy about that. It's like, you wouldn't walk into someone's house and be like, ew, I hate that couch. You know, you wouldn't do that. It's kind of the same idea. When you're coming on to someone's like content, it's the same. Would you walk into someone's house and say these, like the negative, ugly things you want to say? Would you say it to a person's actual face? People are totally removed with interactions now because we're all online chronically. But again, still real people here, and you know, it just is what it is. So yeah, his Tim Talks are 100% worth it. He says it like it is. It's another reason why I very much enjoy. It's a good old Tim Holtz. day with Captain Obvious, and then when he gets a little spicy and says it like it is, and that just, and same thing. And that's why I'll still continue to be the way I am and call it out, because the fact that some of these negative people will go after him just blows my mind. I cannot even put myself in the shoes of a person who is that full of themselves, who will go after Tim Holtz and be like, stop the yapping and just get to it already. Like the audacity. I can't. I can't. So yes. And yes, I know we would all love, and people, and he's addressed it. Like, we would love if he left those up, but he is running a business, and um they edit down the lives to keep things specific to the projects, the content, etc. And so they nip out the beginning and the end. So you only get those during the live and then for the next couple days. So that his live from yesterday, it's still up, it's still good. It'll be tomorrow that they'll go in and nip it. So if you want to catch, the things he has to say. But yeah, it is worth every second. Whether he's just like yesterday, he was just showing those projects with the Ideology Halloween. So good. So good. For his other ones where he's actually like making things and like giving tips and techniques and all the things, always worth it. Absolutely worth every second. So much info. Oh yeah, I call him Spicy Tim. When he'll let things slip every once in a while, and I'm just like sitting here like cackling because it's funny. I love it. I love it. And then I'll be like, tagging Mario in the comments, and Mario just, our favorite is Captain Obvious, but Spicy Tim, every once in a while, he comes out and he just says it like it is, and I'm just like, love it. Love it. Because yeah, some people just need to be told. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, unlike him, I don't go back and edit all this out. People can just stop watching when the card is done. It's fine. Because that is the thing. And again, with Tim's, when you edit lives afterwards and like cut out parts like that, it immediately deletes the chat. It's just how YouTube works, sadly. So I don't do it because I leave the chat up. I leave the replays full as is, unfiltered, unedited, is what it is. But yeah, I don't have the great advice because I'm not as good as words. I'm not as good as words as he is. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But I leave it up because it just is. Same with like the meltdowns and the crying on lives. They're still there in those ones from whenever. Hopefully that won't happen again. But, I'm also an emotional glue bag. So that happens too. Is what it is, man. And like I always, yes, yeah, when he starts going in about Judgy McJudge, that's when Spicy Tim has entered the chat. And I'm just like, yes. But yeah. Okay. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and for hanging out with me. And yeah, I do. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys that tune into the lives. I appreciate those that watch the replays. I appreciate the ones that watch the replays and are still watching while I'm just literally yapping on about nothing. I appreciate it. And the thumbs upping, all of it, it does. It genuinely helps. It's just another one of those things. And also something I've gotten hate comments over. They're just like, oh, it's just gross. You don't need to beg for thumbs up and likes. Like, you get enough. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Is what it is. But yeah, no, they do help because it's just this stupid, huge part of doing this as a job is catering to the algorithms and the robots. And we have no control over it. That's what runs everything on YouTube and Facebook and all the places. It is algorithms, and they notice things. The robots notice the thumbs up. They notice the amount of comments. They notice the engagement. So yeah, it helps, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all of it, and it still blows my mind that people tune in to me and my absolute chaos. you know? But yeah, I'll have a video coming first thing tomorrow morning. In fact, I'll show a little sneak peek. Or maybe I won't. No, I can't. I can't reach them. But Halloween themed. Very non-traditional colors. So I've got that coming. I have many Halloween videos coming. I didn't even get a chance to use. That's what I was going to use, but I got sidetracked. I did get, speaking of Tim Holtz, they are linked in the supplies. I got this one and I got all the other ones. They're sitting here. Hopefully I will get some extra time to make with them. They are all in, since I mentioned them and showed it, I'll leave it linked. Because yeah, the Sizzix Vault Halloween release this year was perfection, as always. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Making sure I got Well, I'm glad you stopped in, Libby. It's just a reminder, not begging, in my opinion. I know. Again, it's just sometimes it's the most random of things that I say. It's funny. I try to watch what I say because I am a blunt person. I swear like a trooper. And I am not the greatest with words. So I'm usually like saying things that just offend people left, right, and center. And most of the time it's completely unintentional. But it's silly things like don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, like the video, whatever, that aggravates people. I don't know. It's just funny. So yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anne. That's really nice. Oh yeah, all those makes from his live yesterday were just, and I don't even do like the 3D ideology. I have a ton of it. I can't help it. I purchase a lot of the Tim Holtz ideology. I have a huge bin full of it for down the road. Someday I will have the time to just sit and fiddle and alter things, and build stuff someday. And I'm fine with it because same thing, like Tim says, it's like you never know how long certain things are going to be on the market, yada yada. Have it for later. So I take that to heart. I'm a professional curator of Tim Holtz product, but those are some of my favorite, like his ideology lives and seeing what those makers create. It's phenomenal. I highly, even if all you make is cards, I still highly recommend watching. Just the creativity that they come up with is mind blowing. It's so mind blowing and it's so cool and it's so neat to see how their brains work. I can't. I love it. So yeah. And yes, his videos are the worst for the pocketbook. Oh, the amount of orders I'll place sometimes during his lives. Completely insane. So, anyway, the two boys holding, oh yeah, even things like that, like snipping apart the little paper dolls. I have a bunch of those. I never use them. I don't know. It's not how I make. It's not how I think, but I still buy them. I still buy them. And then, yeah, I see ideas like that. And I'm like, that is so brilliant. Oh, check out that live, you guys. It is worth it. It is so worth it. And yeah, I have a ridiculous bin just full of Tim Holtz ideology. I've got the moss and the mummy cloth and the stickers and just all the little 3D elements, the resin piece. I have so much. It's insane. It's insane. Like I've got the baseboards. I have the I'm literally I have another basket with like all of it. All of it. I have all of it, really. And I love it. I love it. I'll dig through it every once in a while. But yeah, someday I'll be able to sit and make all of that coffin candy car. Oh yeah, that was something else. Tammy B is a phenomenal creator and she does YouTube videos. She doesn't post them very often, but she usually does a video of some of her big makes. Phenomenal. And some of her videos are like 1-2 hours long, sort of a thing, because they're like super involved. Like she did one last year. I think it was Tammy B. Yeah, I was super inspired by it. She did the one last year with the ghosts, the little ghost people. And she made, I think it was supposed to be, again, it was Haunted Mansion themed. I'm not sure. But the way she did the ghosts was so inspiring. I took notes. I watched her video, I took notes, and I did a video. One of my lives was inspired by her make, because I did the same sort of combo to create my little ghosts. And that was in last year's Halloween series, because I went live and I made a Tim Holtz themed cards with the little ghost trick-or-treaters. And I did her color combo and whatnot for the ghosts. And it was just perfection. Perfection. Love it. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I've talked enough. I got, like I said, a ton of work to do. But I like talking to you guys. But I do have a ton of work to do. So stay tuned. I'll get this photoed and up on the blog post. For those still watching and those that are watching on replay, the giveaway for this is in my blog post because it's just me running solo today. So that's linked below. Go to the blog post. It'll be there. And when I edit the blog post, it'll stay up until I'll probably pick a winner tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'll pick a random winner and I'll mail this card out to that person. And yeah. Appreciate you guys so much. Stay tuned. Got a ton of videos as always, and tons and tons of content coming, and maybe potential random, unscheduled, unfiltered lives. You never know. It'll just depend, but the main schedule is always like Sundays, 2 p.m. Central. That's where you'll find me, is right here. And I will chat with you guys later. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in supporting me over on Patreon, the link to that is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye.